Here at the College Preparatory School in Oakland, California, collaborative learning is one of the most important ways our students learn and grow.
In math, we work in groups every day, asking each other questions before we ask the teacher.
In English, we lead our own roundtable discussions to deepen our understanding of the books we read.
College Prep is one of the top private high schools in the country and a terrific model for collaborative learning. The good news, their practices are both replicable and affordable. Take a look at what they do for their students. It may change what you decide to do for yours.
College Prep School is a 52-year-old school. It was founded by two women who had a strong vision of a place where academics could really thrive. The collaborative teaching and learning that we do here is really distinctive. Individual work can be a great way to master content, but what the group work empowers and kind of enables is a student's cultivation of a certain resilience. How do you look to your neighbor as a resource? How do you test your own theories? How do you understand if you're on the right track or the wrong track? The sort of habits of mind that actually are the underpinnings of deeper scholarship.
We have 45-minute classes, and the math classes meet every day. The kids come in and they go over the homework in their groups by comparing answers.
I got the square root of b squared plus a squared. Yep.
And then if they're having no resolution, like a problem was too hard for everybody, that's the signal that says that we need to talk about a problem or two as a class.
The thing I like most about the group work is how easy it is to get help if you're stuck on a problem. I mean, you can just ask one of your group mates to help you, and everybody's really ready to lend a hand.
It's these two lines, and then we do the slope formula from 0 to that.
All right, here comes classwork 30. The ones I care most about are 1 and 2.
And then it says draw the segment from AB to CD. So just connect those points.
We designed the classwork problems to be harder than the homework problems. The homework problems tend to be more straightforward, and the classwork problems are much meatier. And so in order for them to actually accomplish them, they have to talk to each other.
For harder problems, usually our group will work together, and we can usually come to a solution just by putting like little pieces of it together.
Negative d over c for line 2.
I don't think it's negative d over c.
Yeah, because it's
The best groups talk about the problems before they take pencil to paper. You really tell their faces are directed towards each other. They are, looking at each other's papers, and they're learning so much more. They're learning how to be proactive. They're learning how to depend on their peers.
Today you will work as a team of surveyors, putting to use your knowledge of basic compass and straight edge constructions. Your only tools will be a length of rope and a piece of chalk.
I feel like when we work outside together, it just kind of brings our group together a little bit more.
You needed someone to hold the rope and someone to move the chalk, and so it was just like the next step in collaboration was working together to make one big end result.
What I do in my classroom is I try to make the kids feel as comfortable and as safe to be able to take the risks that will create a good conversation. On the first day of class with the 9th grade, I start by asking the students what are the values implicit in sitting around this large wooden oval table. And they come up with a list on their own. First and foremost is respect, and also listening to each other, being courteous, having the right geography of the classroom. It's really important. I always make sure before we start class, can you all see each other? Can you make eye contact with your classmates? And if you can't, I have them adjust their chairs so that they can. I always tell the kids, check your ego at the door. Be willing to take risks and just have fun and just throw out ideas. And you throw something else out and it's not fully formed, that's great, because somebody else can jump in and build on that idea. Another sort of easy trick I have is to start with a kind of a reflective moment, a moment of silence, or a little moment of writing.
Remembering you want to have your feet firmly planted on the floor, and then the next thing you want to do is focus on the breath. How was that?
You know, it only takes a couple minutes, but just having that moment to let out the anxiety is great because it really can improve their concentration for the class so that they're able to have that kind of engaged conversation.
And
guys need a little bit of extra. What's important is to have a set of guidelines for the students. In this conversation, I'm going to have you guys write down the questions and then talk to each other about the conversation, about the book. And I'm going to sort of step back and take notes. And I'll do a little bit of guiding, but you guys are going to talk to each other. And there's 3 particular roles that students will fill. One is the scribe role, where one student is taking notes on the conversation so that all the other students can be fully engaged in the conversation that's happening. Another role is a little map where one student is monitoring who's speaking when, and they draw these sort of diagrams so that there's a visual map of how the conversation is going. Now, the other thing I just want to point out, since I'm showing these to you, is would you say this is a good conversation? Yes. How about that? No. Right. And then the third role is the moderator role.
So I was the moderator, and it was my job to make sure that we didn't stay on one topic for too long or move too quickly. It was also my job to make sure that everybody talked. Okay, I think we should hear from someone who hasn't talked yet.
Taya, Caroline, Noah, Max.
Well, Athena's making him seem godlike, so I think he's just like taking a gamble at establishing.
When we're having a conversation, you really feel like you're part of the conversation and not like, oh, you're sitting in the back of the class and you can't actually see the person who's talking. And also, it's a great way for people to exchange ideas back and forth and sort of have everyone contribute.
Who do you think is the modern equivalent to Odysseus?
Tebow.
In addition to setting up the conversation the first time around, at the end of each Harkness discussion, to sort of take a few minutes to sort of check in with the students and ask, well, how'd we do? How'd you do? How do you think that went?
I like that. I mean, I feel like I learn a lot more when we discuss things and we get deeper into it, so. Yeah.
Great. Eli, how does that look? And I like to keep those maps so that we can kind of chart the progress in terms of Harkness discussions. And those who talk not so much, right, maybe step in a little bit, and if other people can help them, because it really is a group effort, right? Some people just need a little bit more help and a little bit of space to do it. So next time we do it, let's be mindful of that, but I think overall you guys did a really terrific job. Teaching in this discussion-based way is really the most challenging but also the most exciting form of teaching I know. It never gets old, and honestly I feel like I still have a lot to learn about it.
I think the special sauce at College Prep is really about the kind of community values that kids find when they come here. They think they're coming for a first-rate academic preparation, and that certainly is the centerpiece of what we're doing, but what I think makes us special and distinct is actually this culture of respecting the individual, of celebrating the small victories, of kind of enthusiastically embracing all parts of the learning experience.